top 5 popular COVID vocabulary. We're going to learn about most popular vocabulary that you might be hearing in the news. Also, we're going to look at the difference between the similar vocabulary. So let's get started. So number 1 is a very famous vocabulary, and we might be hearing this term all the time. It is pandemic. Now, we all know about the term and the word pandemic, but we're going to also look at some other close word, something like pandemic. There is also endemic and epidemic. Now, what's the difference between all these 3 words? So pandemic is a global disease, means a disease which is spread all over the world. We call it a pandemic, right? And then we say endemic. So endemic is the disease or something which is spread just in a certain part of a country. So for example, if say in the USA, coronavirus is spread just in New York, so we call it endemic. It's not a pandemic, it's an endemic because it is just spreading in New York, right? Then we have epidemic. So epidemic is a disease or a situation which is spread all over the country, just one country. So for example, if in the US there is COVID-19 situation, you can say it's an epidemic, not pandemic. Pandemic is all over the world, like outside of the borders. Epidemic is just in one country, and endemic is just one part of the country. Then second vocabulary is vaccine, right? So we are very familiar with this term, and we all are waiting for vaccine. Vaccine has arrived in many countries, but vaccine is a very popular term nowadays. So I hope that you guys are getting vaccine on time, and please get a vaccine on time because this situation is quite different. You need to get vaccinated, right? So vaccine, and then we have another similar terms related to vaccine, drug, medicine. So vaccine is in the form of liquid, right? When it's in the form of liquid and we get a shot, it's vaccine. Drug is basically could be in any form, and drug is something which you take to control your disease. So for example, if I have some problem, say I have high blood pressure, so I need to take a drug to control my blood pressure, because when you leave this drug, you're gonna have some side effect or negative effect. I wouldn't say side effect, I would say negative effect, because when you leave this drug, then you're gonna relapse, you're gonna get back to the previous situation. So make sure you need to take this drug all the time. So drug is something which you need to take all your life, and that helps you to control your disease or some situation. Then we have medicine. Medicine is a common term for drug, but medicine is different from drug. A drug is basically you have to take it and it reverses your situation. Well, but medicine is the cure of a disease or a situation. So for example, you have fever, right? And you take a medicine. So when you take a medicine, it's cured. It means that you don't have to take that medicine again and again. You just take it one time, you are okay, and you can just leave it. So vaccine is in the liquid form, get a shot like for a virus, which create kind of immunity in your body, create antibodies. Drug is something which you have to keep taking it in order to control your condition, and medicine is you can just take it one time in order to cure your disease or problem. Then very common different vocabulary, vaccinate, right? So you need to get vaccination, or I will vaccinate myself. So vaccinate is to get a vaccine. Another term for vaccinate is inoculate. So inoculate is a very common term. You can say inoculate. Then immunize. Immunize is also one of the terms. So there's a little bit difference. Vaccinate is when you get a vaccine, you vaccinate yourself. Inoculate is basically you take a vaccine or anything in your body. So when you actually get a kind of drug or vaccine, it means inoculate. So a little similar in meaning, not much difference, but inoculate is basically not just vaccine, it could be anything like drug or medicine or vaccine or any kind of liquid. Immunize is basically means that you make your immune system strong. So how can you make your immune system strong? Maybe by getting a vaccine or maybe eating healthy food. So immunize means to make your immune system strong. All right, so these are very similar terms, similar words, but almost have the same meaning. When we talk about noun, we can also use it as noun. There's vaccination, inoculation, immunization. So this is used as a noun, like you're gonna get a vaccination, right? So I can use it as a noun as well. Okay, another term we might be hearing all the time, because this is COVID situation and we have a lockdown, right? Lockdown is when a city is shut down totally. Means you can't go out, you can't do any activity, everything is closed in your area. That is called lockdown. We also must have heard this term curfew. So what's the difference between curfew and lockdown? Lockdown, when you shut down a city for a certain time. Curfew is basically a restriction, right? So curfew could be imposed in certain part of the country or certain part of the city. And curfew basically means that you are not allowed to go to that area because it's curfewed, means everything is closed and you are not permitted to go into that area because of some situation. So for example, if there is a riot or there is a kind of stampede in your area and that area has a curfew, means you're not allowed to go out. However, lockdown, you're allowed to go out. It's not dangerous situation, but it's like it's a temporary shutdown of that area or that place. And then we have state of emergency. So state of emergency is not a lockdown, it's not a curfew, it's just the alarming situation. So for example, government has announced a state of emergency. It means that they have informed people that it's serious, it's not good to go out in this situation, but of course it's not a total shutdown or total curfew in particular situation. You can go out, but it's an alarming situation. Then we might be hearing this vaccine rollout. So you might be hearing this, that this vaccine will be rolled out next month. Means, so rollout is to launch a vaccine or to give away, to give vaccine to people. So when it happens for the first time, we say rollout of something. So vaccines will be rolling out next month. Distribute, of course, when you distribute the vaccine, so of course vaccine is already out, and then you start distributing to people in different places. And disseminate is another term similar to distribute. Disseminate is basically to allot vaccine to people. So for example, vaccines will be disseminated in some particular cities, right? So distribution is to just distribute, give vaccine to people. Disseminate is to allot vaccine to particular places or to particular people. So for example, these vaccine will be disseminated to health workers first, all right? And then we have nothing, all right? So these are the top 5 vocabulary, and these are the differences between all those vocabulary. And I hope you can remember this. I think these are very common vocabulary you might be hearing in the news all the time. So hope you can remember this vocabulary. I hope to see you next time. Be safe, get vaccinated, and take care of your health. I hope to see you soon. Adios, goodbye, ta-ta.